Okay, I'm gonna start, just give a little quick preview of the new base I'm working on. It's kind of interesting. Um, Working on a new map that's very cool. And I went ahead and just use the gyrocopter to zoom around the map and get rid of the fog of war and reveal it. So, probably about the best map I've ever seen. Anything north or to the edges are the radiated zones, so we're going to stay clear. And this is the wasteland. Got a huge city in the wasteland. And then we've got a couple of small towns. And you can see we've got a few small towns here and a pretty large city in the Arctic biome. Desert biome's kind of interesting. They're just two large towns. Not like super huge, but pretty big. And that's about it for the desert. And then the forest biome is pretty large, but oddly enough, there's really not... you have this one super large city. This is probably the biggest city there is. And then there's a small town here to the northwest of that. So maybe the fact that this is the biggest city is why there's only one other small town. So I was trying to figure out where I wanted to set up shop. And I thought about being near the desert, but, well, I don't know. If you camp out over here in the forest area, okay, yeah, you have access to the two cities, and I might put another, like, a smaller base over here, but I figured I kind of wanted to bridge the gap between the large city and the forest city and the larger winter city. And plus you got this other town that's right next here. These are in very close proximity, so I like that. But you'll notice in this mountain range, there's like a little chasm here. And I thought this might be a good place to set up shop. And I didn't quite know how I wanted to do the base, but I was toying with the idea of doing a radial base, you know, or like maybe like an octagon shape. But this large chasm was a great place to set up. The way I do it is I set up my core, my center core, which is the stairway, and usually a center channel area for like electronics and wiring and that kind of stuff. So this allowed me to set up my core, and then I just built different levels, you know, shooting off to the sides. And this chasm here left enough of a gap that as the floors of the level kind of brushed into the side of the mountain, I was able to use the mountain for structural support. And then eventually I ended up removing some of it and just filling it in with concrete. But it's a really good location. So I'm going to show you real quick. Let's hope the weather stays nice. And you can see it's a little dark in here. I'm starting to work on my... this is where the garage is going to be for the motorcycles, and there's like a Jeep that we have. So I'm getting the inner wall, because we're building inside a mountain. We're building it kind of like a bunker, sort of. You have to be careful when you excavate, because you want to make sure you got enough supports, otherwise the whole mountain's going to come crashing down on you. That wouldn't be good. So we're doing it very carefully, but I started with the inner wall here, made it pretty strong and double thick. And then now that this is secure, then I put in a little walkway, and then I'm going to start working on an outer wall after this. But you can see I have corridors and branches on each direction, and I got to carve out these areas as well. And we'll figure out what we want to do with them. But I wanted to start with the garage. Okay. And let's see. Stairway is facing the north entrance. You're going to be kind of impressed. I'm actually pretty pleased with how this went. Then we have the second level. And it's daytime. And again, we have more corridors. And we can fill in rooms or workshops or whatever. Got one facing in each direction, although you'll notice as we start going up levels, as the hills and the mountains start spreading outwards, then we start losing our, you know, ability to just put whatever size room we want in there. So the larger rooms have to be at the bottom. And here we are on the 3rd level of the base. And again, we're starting to run out of room here, but I've probably got enough room to throw in, again, little smaller storage areas, maybe a small workshop. And there's the core. There's the central core there. So as we come out of the 3 levels of basement, we emerge onto the main deck here. And I'm going to expand. I'm going to make this a little bit wider so we can actually put living facilities here. And we got a little bit of a view here. And I had the each floor is going to be about 10 feet high. I want to be able to try to get some kind of a view, so I made them a little bit needlessly tall. But we'll see. I'm probably going to put some glass here to give a little bit of a view in the central area. And here we go. This is the second. What is the second or third? It's probably what the 3rd floor, I guess. Well, after the main deck. Well, including the main deck. So you can see we're starting to come to the top of the chasm here, and you can see the nature of the chasm. Goes way the heck down there. This part of the mountain range isn't too bad. What I might do is fill this in with dirt, you know. So I can block off any routes in, you know, and kind of seal ourselves in. And I'm going to put some tunnels for escaping in vehicles, and then you can probably land the gyro. We'll put like a landing platform up here somehow. But I'm going to hit, I'm going to go ahead and hit the fly so I can do the creative mode so it can kind of show you roughly the layout here. And of course I got to paint this too as well. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and we can see we still got, I don't know how tall I want to make this. I was hoping to be able to get a view up over the mountain range, but maybe it's better just to stay hidden. You can see once we get, this is a huge mountain range. I can see there's a road network, there's a town. Okay, yeah, that's the main town. That's the main town that we're looking at right over there. And it's a pretty tall mountain range, so the winter mountains are right over there. Alright, and there's that winter town there. And then we have our other small town right there. So looking at it, I mean, it's almost a little difficult to find. Where the heck are we now? Boy, I lost where I am. But you can see it, so this is really a great place to build a base, because, man, I just lost where the heck I was. Oh, there we go. Got to get some draw distance. So here, if we're flying at the top of the mountain range, as big as our base is, it still is it only covers about half of the height of the mountains. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm thinking I might want to make it like an octagon shape. And what I'm probably going to do is extend the sides a bit and trim off the edge there to give us the shape that we want. And then, like I say, it's just a matter of figuring out what sort of rooms do we want here. Primarily the living quarters, I think, is what we're looking for. Because I think all the work areas we can fit down below. So we'll see how this goes. But I've been working on it for a bit and still trying to get some ideas on how I want to do this. So there we go.